Okay, man, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now crank this motherfucker up.
Break it down like this.
Hello, Internet. Gino, that Pinguino Grieco, here again with another episode of Deep Listens, and today is the exciting conclusion of our Game of the Year podcast. This is part 2. You can tune in to the podcast last week for part 1. I'm joined by Pete Busby, Chris ZombiePie Redacted, Braden ArbitraryWater Redacted, Jeff Rude, and M. Palladino to finish up what we started last week. So tune in there if you want Game of the Year and some of our genre categories. This week, we are going to be discussing Best Mechanic, Biggest Disrespect to Player's Time, Best Twist, Worst Game of Our Year 2022, Worst Story and or Written Dialogue, and then all of our individual awards. So that's the Jean-Paul Sartre Memorial Award for Game that Best Expresses the Ultimate Futility of the Human Condition, the Platypus Award, the Help I'm Trapped in Sysiphean Torment Award, the Biggest Indictment of Capitalism, M. Sheeple Award, Jeff's Old Game Commendations, Braden's Dubious Championship League, Best Non-Game, and then, of course, Game of Our Year. So listen for the rest of the show. Reminder, you can get in touch with the show at DeepListensPod on Twitter, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have our comment sections, and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. And you can support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. And now, without further ado, here's the rest of the Game of the Year podcast. Next up, we've got Best Mechanic. The nominees for Best Mechanic are web slinging in Webbed, Big Kirby mode in Kirby, mouthful modes in Kirby in the Forgotten Land, tactics but also cards in Floppy Nights, everything about Patrick's Parabox because it's a puzzle game, bondage in Lady Killer in a Bind, cross-dressing in Lady Killer in a Bind, draw roads in Freeways, wrestling RPG, Hybrid Heaven, dungeon crawling, Might and Magic 6, the job system in Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins, and the Espers in Final Fantasy 6. So, Pete, what do you got here?
Sure, I'm voting mouthful modes. Because, when's the last time you saw a legitimate innovation in a Kirby game? Like a mainstream Kirby game. The last one I can think of is when he had, animal sidekicks, which was, 15 years ago? So I'm going to take mouthful
Animal
modes.
Sidekicks was Kirby's Dream Land 2.
Yeah, it's the second game. So I'm picking mouthful
Which came out
modes.
in 1991.
We're old, Pete. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I forgot I was old. I'm voting for Vor.
Hell yeah! Okay, Pete, I'm going to send you some websites when this podcast is over. Don't hear back, but yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. ZP, what do you have then?
I'm actually going to probably vote for what Gino would vote for. I've said a lot of yang about this game, but there's no denying that the job system in Sopfo is actually kind of the best part of the game. It's such an interactive, dynamic system. I wish it existed, and I hope that it will eventually exist in other games, especially in the franchise, and they continue to refine them. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't have these weird times where I was playing the same mission again so as that I could just get more orbs into jobs and unlocking jobs. It's like a really novel system. I would actually vote for the job system in Sopfo.
All right. M, what do you have for Best Mechanic?
I think I gotta say everything about Patrick's Parabox because, man, there's some funky stuff that game does. You go infinite with your push block puzzle.
You recur.
Yeah.
You loop.
There's looping. You just gotta play it to see where it goes. But as far as a puzzle game goes, I think we gotta give that a nod.
Okay. Jeff, where do you come down on this?
No, wait, bondage. Sorry, I forgot about that.
All right, we have a vote for bondage. I don't know how we can. I don't think you get to do that in the game, but okay. The votes we're a democracy.
Man, like I've not played Patrick's Parabox, but I in the episode and then staring at it on Steam like a fair bit. That's not even the only game that dude made this year or released this year anyway, which is really wild considering how innovative, I suppose we can say, the puzzling in that is. So like part of me wants to like give that a nod here, but part of me also wants to just say like Might and Magic 6 has incredible dungeon crawling. I don't want to give that a nod too. But part of me says, shut up, Jeff, just say Espers. It's Espers. It's the answer's Espers. Just put the card next to Espers. So probably Espers. Like I like it basically is like a half step between a job system-esque thing in 5 and what happened in Final Fantasy 7, which more people played probably overall, which is just kind of maybe introduces a problem where everyone can kind of just do everything at the end of the game. But I'm not gonna lie, the grinding that shit out in the spirit of, former members of this podcast sure was fun.
Sure,
I like Espers.
Braden, where do you come down on this?
Okay, this is where I throw a lit Molotov in here, and I say Espers are the worst part about Final Fantasy VI mechanics.
I'm actually with you. And it's for the exact same reason that Jeff said, which is it homogenizes. Here are all these characters with these interesting different ways in which you play them. The minute they introduce the Espers, you basically make the same fiddler crab over and over again, except for maybe one white mage.
Yeah.
Like,
and it
feels
fucking good every
all these
single
characters
time.
have these distinct ways that you play them and get utility out them, and then it pisses that away by having the Esper system.
And then you find more Espers, and then you're like, I can level this up on all of these people again.
Now
and
they all have Ultima
again, and then I can do it again. And there's 14 of them.
And then remember when you would have to redo all of the Espers and the relics all over again?
You just said that. So Patrick's Parabox, I'm going to vote for.
Okay.
I really hated sticking them back on.
I vote for Dungeon Crawling Might Magic 6 because no one else will.
Okay. So we've got a multi-way tie between Mouthful Mode, Might and Magic 6, the job system in Sopfo, Bondage, and Patrick's Parabox.
Gino, you did not vote.
You're right, I didn't. So I'm going to vote for the job system in Sopfo.
Okay.
Damn.
Good.
I can't in good conscience vote for Bondage because I don't have any, experience with it. But the part where apparently it takes like 4 hours to set up, not interested.
That was nuts, right? I had no idea.
Would you prefer cross-dressing?
Listen, I'm not going to tell people
Faster.
I mean,
There's no
my
setup for
problem.
more.
I
You just
just
find
can't.
your stuff.
Clothing in
my
general
problem
kind of,
is like I just can't find a good foundation for my skin tone, and I get frustrated, and
I'll
then I
send you
get.
some websites.
Oh, okay, thank you so much.
All right, so the winner is the job system from Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins, with runners-up Mouthful Mode, the Dungeon Crawling and Might and Magic 6, Bondage, and Patrick's Parabox. Next category, we have, drumroll please, the biggest disrespect of players' time, with the nominees being Fortnite, Elden Ring, God of War 2018, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, Eternal Sonata's Dungeons, About an F, the gameplay, all of it, Unlimited Saga's Unlimited Saga, all of it, Combat and Aiden Chronicles, Grinding Experience in Zelda 2, and No Undo Button in Freeways.
Okay, guys.
My vote.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna plant a flag very quickly. My vote is for Unlimited Saga's Unlimited Saga.
So I think we need to paint a picture, Gino and Jeff, about Unlimited Saga. So
Someone else can talk about this game.
imagine if you would, you're playing an RPG game and you take the time to select a character and you're leveling up their stats and you have all of this stuff and you get some nice weapons. You get a wonderful dagger, maybe even a sword or a mace, and then a nice shiny shield and a new set of armor. Now, if you would, imagine that everything that you do in this RPG with stats that you have painstakingly given your character is determined by a roulette wheel, including the combat. Every single battle, every single time you fight an enemy, you have to run a roulette wheel and hope when you hit the button, you select the attack that you want to do in combat. And you have to do that for anywhere between 8 to 22 hours, depending on which character you've picked.
And it's also worth saying that nice dagger you got has health.
It will break.
It will break if
your
you use it too
alignment
much.
to that dagger is just to that dagger. If you buy a different dagger, even if in-game it has the same name, you're starting with level 1 with that dagger. And now you will have a different roulette wheel to spin over and over again.
And if you wanted to heal this dagger, you would have to use a different roulette wheel to fix the dagger. And that roulette wheel has success, failure, and critical failure options.
Jesus.
There are 2 fail options and 1 success option.
That sounds pretty
The
good.
whole game is this.
Yeah. This is a very convincing argument. Well, let me ask just in the first place, do you need my or M's vote?
No. No, we don't.
No.
Yeah, all I'm doing in this category is choosing runners up because Unlimited Saga wins. I described when we had a discussion when I guest appeared on Off the Deep End for this between Aiden Chronicles and Unlimited Saga for the worst game they've ever played. And the argument came down to Unlimited Saga behaves exactly as its designer envisioned, and they just designed a hellish creation.
That's the combat. That is
I
the
noticed
combat.
that Unlimited Saga is the lowest on the Off the Deep End rankings.
Yes.
It is a tedious nightmare.
It does not care that you're... It's a game that does not care that you are playing.
And we should mention that you move on a tabletop game board, and every single time that you move on the board, you have to make sure that your stats are leveled to certain random events which you have no control over. No control over. And let's say some random bullshit happens to you and you don't have that set, and your game's over. You could lose
every
worth of progress just suddenly. And
if there's a trap in a room,
here's how you
spend
level.
a turn.
I'm convinced. Please stop talking. Don't show me anything else.
Okay, here I want to say a couple things. I want to get some runners up on here.
Okay.
I'm gonna lead with, I guess, the spiciest one. I like Metal Gear Solid 3. I think parts of that game are kind of ragged. I like the idea of the camouflage system quite a bit. I think its implementation is actually very tedious, and I can see that really ruining the fucking soup for people, just right out the gate. So, I'm not saying let's nominate that as a runner-up, but jeepers. However, the combat in Aiden Chronicles is also very bad, and the grinding for experience in Zelda 2 is also very bad. Just kind of grinding. I don't need to explain grinding and why it sucks. I'll just say that game is very punitive in how it punishes you, especially for unspent experience. Because if you die, it just all gets pisses into the well. Combat in Aiden Chronicles, it's the game plays out in 3-dimensional, somewhat real time. You're kind of walking around environments. When you come upon like a rat or a vole or a goblin or whatever, it goes into a discrete combat arena thing where you then start roughly 300 yards apart, and then you need to move towards each other, and you will spend probably, I'm not joking, 3 or 4 very slow, chunky 3D N64 game turns just walking towards someone. It's horrible.
So, Pete, to explain this in Fire Emblem terms so as that you understand what he's describing. So imagine, if you would, you go into a battle with Fire Emblem, and it's a big, giant box, and the enemies start on the upper right-hand corner, and you start in the bottom left-hand corner. And you spend 20 turns just getting to the middle. Yeah, that's what he's describing.
Yeah,
and you don't have sniper rifles or something.
Okay.
They're melee characters. They're all melee characters.
Yeah.
Okay, so That's
This
Aiden
is
Chronicles.
Aiden Chronicles? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't play that. So
All right, I won't.
I think runners up here. So the winner's Unlimited Saga with a bullet. I think the runners up Eternal Sonata's Dungeons.
Yep.
Just
Oh
dog
yeah.
shit.
Hey.
That was what I was going for.
Combat and Aiden Chronicles also bad. Grinding XP in Zelda 2 also bad. I think these other things are disrespectful in different ways. Metal Gear Solid 3, its cutscenes are too long. Elden Ring is too big. God of War 3, 2018 too big. Fortnite. I don't know why someone nominated Fortnite. I don't think Fortnite's that bad. But
Is
like,
Fortnite.
About an Elf.
Fortnite,
Yeah.
the impetus for Fortnite was because in order to actually... No, wait, that's an indictment of capitalism.
Yes.
I don't remember
Yes.
why I put it Fortnite on here.
Okay. About an Elf, not a long enough game to be that disrespectful. Same thing with Freeways.
Yep.
So winner, Unlimited Saga, go to hell. And runners up, Eternal Sonata's Dungeons, Combat and Aiden Chronicles, and Grinding XP in Zelda 2. Next category, we have Best Twist. So the Best Twist
Spoilers for
nominees are...
games.
Yeah, spoilers for all the games that I'm going to talk about. So, Song of Iron, the twist is, it's a sci-fi game. Surprise, it's sci-fi in Song of Iron. God of War 2018, turns out Atreus, he's Loki. The Supper, it turns out in the Supper, there's a soup in the first screen of the game. Turns out you killed a bunch of people and you made them into soup. In Eternal Sonata, mineral powder makes people into monsters. And then the second twist in Eternal Sonata, Chopin likes anime more than life and would prefer to be in anime forever. Lady Killer in a Bind, your brother's a socialist terrorist, and you're part of his plot to bring socialism to the world. Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, there's some twist at the end. I don't remember what it is, but I remember it was a twist. Might and Magic 6, it becomes sci-fi. Hybrid Heaven, Diaz is Johnny. Unlimited Saga just plays like this. It's like this the whole time. I can't believe it. Quest 64, it's not nearly as bad as they say. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins, it turns out that your dumb idiot Zoolander characters masterminded a plot to overthrow a horrible, like,
Multi-dimensional...
multi-dimensional government that's controlling the world of Final Fantasy 1, and they have engineered this through multiple iterations of going to this world and setting up Jack Final Fantasy to become chaos and gain control of the world. And then your best friends took the fall for second-degree murder and is blackmailing you now. NBA 2K16. So what do we got?
I'm gonna quick addendum to that one. I'm gonna put bracket the car scene.
Yes.
Close bracket.
Mhm.
There you go. Okay.
So I'm going to vote for NBA 2K16. One,
Yeah.
on the basis of this twist, and two, on the basis that the NBA signed off on this. This is a game with the official NBA license where multiple characters are overtly racist, and your main character murdered a drug dealer. So that's my pick for best twist.
It also
Good-
has
strong
no foreshadowing. It just
No.
happens. This scene happens, and it's like, yeah, man, remember that time when I helped you commit second-degree murder? Just remember that time? And it's like, what the
It sh-
fuck, NBA?
It sure would be bad if anyone learned about that. And that scene goes on for like 10 or 20 minutes.
also
It's
shot
very long.
better.
We talked about it. It's shot in a
Yeah.
way that it is the most anti-Spike Lee framing and shooting and direction for the entire scene.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
And the scene is even better given that my character was this balding Cro-Magnon looking caveman person.
Yeah. Both our characters looked like extras from the hit NBC show Caveman.
Oh, right. That was a show.
Yeah.
Was
How
not
dare you
expecting
remind
that
me of that.
reference in 2023.
So any other? I
think it's the
nominate.
car scene. Yeah, me too. I have to vote for the car scene.
Okay, we got 2 votes for the car. 2 or 3 votes for the car
3.
scene. 3. Damn. I was gonna go with Chopin likes anime more than life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
if you put bracket the end of the game, that's really good too. But also, Pete makes the pretty good case. Gino, like the script had to go to Adam Silver or God, fucking someone in the NBA, they read it and were like, "This is perfect."
Let me just throw something out there. The script for Eternal Sonata had to go to Chopin's living family.
Yeah.
They had to give it to Chopin's estate. And they were like, yeah, all this sounds great.
Yeah,
Give it
sign
to
me up for
Eternal
that.
Sonata.
Like,
My ancestor would definitely. I mean,
one of these two should win. I don't think we need to completely walk over just how buck wild stupid Final Fantasy Origins gets at the end to tie it to Final Fantasy 1. Because like very clearly something is up in this game, like even from the ad material. But if you had said, oh yeah, they're just going to invent a fictitious kingdom that disappears, like extra dimensional beings who are able to like, you know, sort of sift through every Final Fantasy game. It's
take their coolest locations and then dump them into the world of Final Fantasy 1 so that because humans are causing too many problems for them, so they're going to genocide all the humans, and Jack Final Fantasy has to murder his friends so that he can become sad enough to become chaos, and then you spend the whole final boss fight cackling to yourself about how you're going to destroy the world because you're just big timing these extra dimensional villains so that they'll leave your shitty little pocket dimension alone because Jack wants to date a princess. If I'm getting the story right.
Yeah, that's what happens. And then you fight like the primordial essence of chaos as the final boss, and you're like, I'm the real chaos. I'm gonna win.
and you fight it, and it wears a necklace made of your friends' heads.
That's pretty metal.
it's
very good. But
yes, that needs to get nominated. But I'm telling you all, the Chopin likes anime more than life thing might still trump it, and the car scene in NBA 2K16 might trump that. I had to resort to pulling an 8-year-old sports game out as a sort of trap card to try to defeat Eternal Sonata, and I might have pulled it off.
You might have. I mean, so do we think that the Eternal Sonata twist includes Polka throwing herself off a cliff and revealing that maybe there's a time loop going on as well?
I fucking forgot about that.
Or just the
Hold on.
inspirational
There's so
speech
much
at the
going
end
on.
where the characters turn to the camera and say, but remember, suicide is not the answer. You've got a life to live.
Yeah, that happens, and then Polka is like the
After like
reimagining
40 hours of like character, like the first thing that happens in that game is a mom just being like, yeah, you might have to kill yourself.
You're gonna have to do this someday.
Like,
Be ready for that.
a little late to be like, hey kids, we know we depicted some suicide in here, but that's not really cool. Anyway, let me get this guitar out. Like, what the fuck?
I mean,
Can we make it
a doctor like pronounces Chopin dead and says cause of death anime.
Yeah. Can we make it the entirety of Eternal Sonata as a twist?
I think we can.
Yeah.
Would we get? Could we?
Is
Do we
this
think?
how? Is this like how when we had to do a separate category for most absurd Xenosaga moment last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most absurd Eternal Sonata moment, the entire thing.
Yeah. It's just all twists. It's never stops twisting. I mean, that girl, she's a spy, and then they kill her, and then we're
She
supposed to
dies
care
for
about it.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so do we have consensus there that best twist goes to Eternal Sonata with
Yeah.
runner-up NBA 2K?
It's okay with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
God damn it. I don't want to take it away from Basquiat though. I really don't. Is there interest in Basquiat? Can we give him one? Can we send Visual Concepts
Okay.
the official award?
Yeah.
Can we stick this in the mail for Spike Lee?
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Let me put it this way.
that's-
Huh? We could
No.
we could mail our award to Spike Lee.
I think that's how you get a restraining order against you.
I would frame it. So
We know he's at the Knicks game. We can find him.
Does he even remember he made this?
No.
I think that's
No.
a genuine question.
He made that, and then he's like, all right, well, I got my paycheck. Now it's time to make. What was he making? Chirac?
Oh,
I think Chirac around this time, yeah.
Noted.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
So making banger after banger.
So I think the winner is Chopin Likes Anime More Than Life,
yeah.
a.k.a. An Eternal Sonata Story, followed by NBA 2K16, the car scene, and Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins whole thing, like the whole twist.
I can live with this.
Excellent.
I can live with this.
Excellent, good.
But will
Next
you?
up, we have Worst Game of Our Year. The nominees are Layers of Fear, About an Elf, Unlimited Saga, Aiden Chronicles, and Virtual Highlight, and Prison Architect.
There's got to be more on
Late
this
nominee.
list. There's got to be more on this list. Hold on.
Not that Punch with these.
Yeah, are any of them gonna win? I mean,
Probably not, but
Yeah.
I spent all year picking bad games.
they were
you
they were too good.
You got ringers here, okay?
All
Off
right.
the deep
You
end
just
coming
wanted
for
more
your ass.
acknowledgement.
Yeah, I think
More
it's an
acknowledgement.
unlimited saga based on everything you told me previously.
Oh yes, it's the
yeah.
worst game that. If it's the worst game that Off the Deep End played, it's hard to beat it. I will say, Prison Architect is a vile thing that I really disliked.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
it's
know.
a despicable game by my
that's-
estimations.
That's where I think I'm at. And I think I've said this before. I'm a huge fan of simulation games. Gino, one of the first things that we did as a charity thing was just me making random roller coasters in Roller Coaster Tycoon.
You killed a lot of people with roller
I
coasters.
kill a lot of people with roller coasters that go directly into the ocean or are deliberately designed to go about the same amount of G-forces as an F-16 fighter jet. But that's a discussion for a different podcast. Prison Architect makes you feel bad simply because not only is it completely incapable of having a mature discussion about is what it's trying to do good or ethical, but also it's just impossible to do it while being a decent human being. Like there's no
Yes.
BioWare light path, dark path. There's no
If you
ethical
do
way
it-
to do it.
Yeah, if you do it ethically, it tells you stop that. These prison cells should be shittier.
Yeah. And in fact, that's the thing is that the game encourages you to be ethically dubious and then rewards you for it. Here's why I think something like Prison Architect is actually worse than Unlimited Saga. Unlimited Saga was a blank check that a guy who had been working at Square for 20 plus years got to make because he shot all of his clout to make a game that only made sense in his head. He pulled every single string that he had legitimately gained to make that game. It's a passion project, and it only makes sense to him. Prison Architect is morally dubious, gross, and just totally not aware of what it is.
It's
Whereas
not even a
Unlimited
good
Saga,
management sim.
it's not even a good management sim. Like I said, I play management sims all the time, and it's like not fun or good or rewarding. I actually think that I would give it to Prison Architect just because of that. And then even then, I would even vote for Layers of Fear before Unlimited Saga.
Yeah, I guess we're rubbing up against games that have bad messages told poorly versus a game that is inscrutable and sucks to play.
Like Layers of Fear's ending and the entire whole message with the story of Layers of Fear, like how that game ends, whether you pick family or loop or selfish, what have you. It's disgusting the way that it depicts genuine self-harm and mental illness. It's like we're back to fucking 10 years ago in terms of all of the progress we've made with mental health.
Yeah, like you said, a dialectic here. There's morally reprehensible games and then some bad games. To speak to the technically bad stuff on here, Aiden Chronicles talked about a little bit. It's a very late N64 attempt at an RPG that I would hazard to say is closest to Ultima 9, which is already a bad thing if you've got any like frame of reference for like what that is. It's just very slow and tedious and hideous to look at. And I also feel like it was a genuine labor of love on the people who made it, trying to fit a market niche, people who were underserved for RPGs. Like it's that game sucks. I don't really know if it hangs right here.
Slow and boring.
Yeah,
Though.
Virtual
That's like its
Highline.
biggest flaw.
Virtual Highline is
Art.
Like it didn't make any other categories here that were noting dubious chunks or whatever, but as a whole it's kind of incredible failure. Like it is just watching someone step on rakes, like going to the international like rake stepping on museum, and just watching an exhibit of everyone just stepping on rakes for like 2 hours, right? It's a comedy of errors. About an elf, I don't even know what to say about it, because like again it's kind of my fault. It's a graphic, it's a visual novel. Is it a visual novel? It's a visual novel adventure game thing. All of the puzzles just basically amount like it is a shockingly easy game mechanically, right? Like it is just some very, very dull puzzles. It just kind of the writing is awful, memey garbage. It looks like a banner ad for a website that you are going to in your off time, looking for content. If you know what I mean.
It's some real come hither, my lord.
Yeah, I don't think it really hangs next to like Prison Architect and like Layers of Fear. I feel like there needs to be a bad game though, and Unlimited Saga probably just eats that alive. But
yeah,
when I think about worst game of year, in terms of us, I'd happily put Prison Architect in that slot. Because fuck that. Don't like that at all. Makes me sad.
Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna come around to M's. I think M, you made the argument for Prison Architect. M and ZP, like Prison Architect. It is one thing to make a criticism of the prison system, which I think is what they were trying to do. It's another thing to make, at least in some way, it's another thing to imagine a world where no improvement can be made, which is what they have done. They've created a system that incentivizes the worst behaviors of the prison industrial system if you want to get ahead and play the game well. And if you try to make the improvements that might actually improve the lives of those who are incarcerated, the game either punishes you for it or actively prevents you from doing it. So as a tool to explore ways that we can improve this fundamentally flawed part of our society, it is so lacking in vision and imagination that it actually undermines its own critique. So I think that this game, because it pushes you towards thinking the best thing to do or the most economical thing to do is to treat people like chattel. And it does have a certain sense of going like, ooh, aren't you doing a bad by doing this? But if you give people a bunch of incentives to go be the shittiest people they can be for points, I don't think that you get to also say, ooh, this is a biting critique. You can't do both, and I think it fucks up.
Yep.
And it does seem to think it's doing critique, but I don't think it does a good job.
Yeah. The story elements, which we're probably going to talk about in the next category as well, it seems like they're going to try to present some nuance to the people who are in your prison, and instead it presents like these people are mafia members and you should be killing them. But
even then, presenting like people that are in the prison are only the absolute, to me, is still a heinous message.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
So let's
only the bads go to prison. Like that's
Uh-huh.
not a solution to what your problem is.
Yeah. So I think Prison Architect is the winner. Do we have a consensus then? It sounds like.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Unlimited
Prison
Saga
Architect
is it is an unfeeling machine ticking down until the end of the world. It is, but yeah, in terms of morally reprehensible, Prison Architect.
No, Prison Architect. Unlimited Saga is you show up to a gaming convention or something, and someone has a game that they have to explain the rules to you, and no one else is having a good time, but the person who explained the rules is having a great time. That's Unlimited Saga. That's
it's the Cones of Dunshire for those that get that reference.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is a social faux pas, but it is not despicable in the same way. Okay, so the winner is Prison Architect. Go fuck yourself. With runners up, Unlimited Saga and Layers of Fear, and Aiden Chronicles, I guess. This basically everything else is also bad.
I'd leave off. I'd just give it to Layers of Fear. I think, like I said, Aiden Chronicles, people really cared. They just made something that's not very good.
Yeah, they just had bad time pressure and, did what they did. All right, next up, worst story and or written dialogue. Nominees are About an Elf, Prison Architect, Eternal Sonata, Sir Whoop-Ass, Immortal Death, The Legend of Dragoon, NBA 2K16 featuring a Spike Lee joint, Aiden Chronicles The First Mage, The Super Spy, Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13, and Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins.
What is The Super Spy?
Yeah, what is that?
We have not seen this yet.
The Super Spy.
The Super Spy. So it is a Neo Geo first-person action role-playing game hybrid for the arcades. It was localized by the team that did most of the early localization stuff for Neo Geo games, which I'm assuming is approximately one guy who went to English classes in high school. It has, on a list that has The Legend of Dragoon, when I say that this is the most scuffed translation on this list, I want you to really ponder that for a moment.
How dare you imply that Lavitt Slambert wasn't translated accurately?
Yeah, I had a list of quotes from this game that I wrote down during that pod that I wish I still had. People are communicating to you in a way like Noam Chomsky would marvel at people's use of the English language in this game. Basically, it is like early text bots attempting to grasp English. I wish I had quotes written down. I don't know if it necessarily hangs here, but it is remarkably bad. If I could get backing for it, I'd go for it.
Could we? I guess we should make a distinction here. Super Spy is a bad translation, but is the writing itself, is it just flubbed? Because some of the writing in Prison Architect,
you meet a guy in a warehouse with guns and resources, and he says terrorist camp and arms factory, and that's all he says. Then he goes away.
Okay, so I feel screwing up a translation, I think, is bad. Similar to Unlimited Saga versus Prison Architect, right? In Worst Game. About an Elf, even if you translated it perfectly, the writing would still suck. Prison Architect, even if you translated it perfectly, the writing would still be upsetting. Oh, we should also put in Layers of Fear in here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait. No, yeah, then Layers of Fear wins this category.
Yeah, there's other things are too strong. This would just be me reading bad quotes from a 30-year-old arcade game.
I feel like Layers of Fear absolutely would... in terms of a story that has a bunch of written dialogue that is painstakingly conveyed with deft, serious tones, and it just completely feels gross and disgusting and doesn't work at all, at all, Layers of Fear wins the worst story. And then also...
I've mentioned the moment where your wife is actively killing herself in the bathroom and he screams out, "I have to go," like a petulant child.
Sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's so bad. It takes away from the horror. It's so bad. It turns it into, I don't even know what. Completely undermines the whole thing.
It's not like it becomes comedy either. It becomes something gross and you want to stop playing it.
Yes.
It's not, oh, your character's terrible. Isn't that so bad? Because he's mentally ill. That's why he's terrible. And it's oh, great. Thanks, Layers of Fear, you piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm sorry, but to linger on this, you go into what looks like a storage closet. There's a scientist. The two lines that occur are, "Too much blood. I'll treat it." The scientist's mouth flap is going. Then the next line is, "Blood stopped. I'm stronger now." No punctuation. Just keeps going.
That's sick.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
It's pretty
I
good.
don't see the problem.
I mean, Layers of Fear is a Polish-made game too, if I'm not mistaken, right? So like there is a little
It
bit
is.
of translation room there, but yeah, the base, the core comes across enough. That thing sucks. It's just awful. I would be happy with that winning this category.
Yeah, and they got professional localization in like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the 2010s and not a
Yeah.
dude in the 90s.
Yeah.
Legend of
Okay.
Dragoon does deserve recognition, though, for having
Yeah.
Yeah.
one of the most scuffed translations I
From
have seen
official
from a
official
first
Sony.
party
Yeah.
Huh.
They put their
video
name
game.
on it.
It's
Yeah.
bad.
It's
Also,
real bad.
about an elf.
About an elf.
Yeah.
I hate
You like
how it's written.
memes?
You
Do you
like memes?
That's it. All right. So the winner of Worst Story and/or Written Dialogue is Layers of Fear, with runners-up About an Elf, Legend of Dragoon, and The Super Spy.
Hell yeah.
And now, time for Pete, your award. The John Paul Sartre Memorial Award for game that best expresses the ultimate futility of the human condition.
It's clearly the award everyone's been waiting for this entire time. Happy to hand it out. Nominees this year are Fortnite, Fulfillment, Eternal Sonata, Prison Architect, not, for the prisoners, but for all the horrible, horrible things it says about the world that we've discussed already, Multiverses, and About an Elf. So this was a tough category. This year we had some terrible games. Eternal Sonata punched up just based on, Chopin picks anime instead of his real life, even though he's Chopin. Seems like he'd have a pretty good real life, honestly. But I am going to pick Fulfillment for the same reasons it won the horror category. It's basically our lives, or, a lot of people's lives, and it's terrible. And it's all Amazon and Jeff Bezos' fault.
The winner for the Trenchie for John Paul Sartre Memorial Award for game that best expresses the ultimate futility of the human condition is Fulfillment. Amazon's a nightmare. Next up is...
Would you like there to be
Okay.
any runner-up out of this?
Eternal Sonata would be my runner-up because, like I said, Chopin bails on his real life because presumably it's not as good as his fake one.
Yes. So next up is my category, the Platypus Award for game that should not be. My nominees are Super Mario RPG, Eternal Sonata, Fortnite, Unlimited Saga, and Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins. Quick explanation, Super Mario RPG, it is a alignment of square at its height with the Mario property, telling this fucking butt ugly video game that tries to tell a cohesive story in a Mario world that heretofore barely had a story. Eternal Sonata, boy oh boy, I mean it's an anime set in the dying mind of Friedrich Chopin. I don't need to say anything else. Fortnite, that game was supposed to be a Left 4 Dead clone or
Tower
something.
Defense Left 4 Dead clone.
And it has turned into the world's largest game by aping
It is
another
brand.
one of the world's largest games. And yeah, now you can have Morty fight fucking Rick, fight Naruto, fight Ariana Grande.
Well,
That thing's ridiculous.
you got to do a special episode now that Giannis Antetokounmpo is in Fortnite.
Yes.
Right, Pete?
Giannis can now
Ew.
pickaxe Goku. to
Giannis
death.
is in Fortnite. Is he like 12
Yes.
feet tall?
He's the same height as everyone.
Everyone
Of course
has the
he
same
is. It's
hitbox.
Fortnite. I should have
It's
known.
Fortnite. He's the same height as Naruto.
Canonically.
Unlimited Saga. Yep. Unlimited Saga. That is a nightmare factory made by one man. It only makes sense to that one man. But good for him that he was able to use his clout to make his little game. And Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins. It's a retelling of the first Final Fantasy game that also somehow managed to sneak the whole game in there, and it might also be a complete reimagining of the Dissidia franchise as well. That game is befuddling. I expected it to be garbage, and it ended up being garbage, but in a very fun way. The winner of this award is Eternal Sonata. I picked that game out the gate, expecting it to win. It exceeded my wildest expectations. Eternal Sonata, go play it or watch someone play it. Watch us play it. Listen to the podcast. That game's incredible. Winner for game that should not be, Eternal Sonata. All right. So the next category up is The ZP's Help I'm Trapped in Sysiphean Torment Award. ZP, your nominees.
Yes, sir.
If he openly declares himself to be a communist, we take his word for it.
Oh, really?
If a person consistently reads and advocates the views expressed in
Wait
a
a
communist
minute.
publication, he may be a communist.
Oh, fuck. That applies to a lot of
If
people
a
here.
person
Oh, wait.
supports-
So, Help I'm Trapped in Sysiphean Torment. For Lightning Returns, I have to disqualify it just because I actually played almost all of the game, and I actually enjoyed my time. Zelda 2, there is now a ROM-hacked version of the game where it gives you max stats, you don't have to do the leveling, and it kind of made me realize that game actually plays decently, similar to what Jeff was saying, to where you start to realize that game kind of sort of would work in a different context. This basically comes down into a race of two games, Unlimited Saga and The Tower of Jiraga. And I actually kind of spoiled who I was going to give this award recipient to. That is The Tower of Jiraga. And the reason why that I gave it to Tower of Jiraga is that Unlimited Saga has combat that functions on a roulette wheel, and you're perpetually just continuing to spin that roulette wheel over and over again. But Tower of Jiraga has an old school quarter-sucking sensibility to it. And when I stopped and thought about what defines Sysiphean Torment in the realm of video games, I realized that it's not necessarily the game that's arbitrarily long or abjectly just bad. It's the game that feels like torture and bestows you a sense that there's no hope of ever reaching the end, like Sisyphus. And that is why Tower of Jiraga is the winner of this category for me. There are 60 floors to this tower. Each of these floors have a hidden quest item, a task that it never tells you, unless you're consulting a guide that tells you exactly what you need to do. Otherwise, you're just stuck in this maze full of wizards and slimes that just kill you very easily. Of those 60 floors, I did the best of the off the deep end. I got to floor 9, and I played the game for about 8 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
If you sent me to the depths of the underworld and you gave me an infinite amount of time, I don't think I can actually finish Tower of Jiraga. I genuinely don't think that. Whereas with Unlimited Saga, and I said this on my blog, Unlimited Saga is kind of like Microsoft FreeCell, in that when FreeCell gives you a tableau of cards, there's exactly one way to win. And if you deviate from that one way, even once, you're fucked forever. You just can't win. You're done. And you will get to like 10 minutes in and realize, oh, I probably made one mistake and now I'm just stuck and I lost. Tower of Jiraga never gives you that sense and instead forces you to just bang your head on brick walls over and over and over again, and you won't even make even a modicum of progress. Whereas with Unlimited Saga, you're at least moving on that game board. You're at least moving forward. You could stay on floor 9 or 10 for literal hours and never leave floor 9 or 10 because there's nothing in the game to ever help you move forward. So that's why I have to give it to Tower of Jiraga. On top of that, it's an arcade game that wants your quarters, so it doesn't even follow its own rules. It just randomly deploys cheap bullshit. If you ever wanted to know where Spelunky figured out the idea of an evil ghost just randomly popping out after an arbitrary amount of time expires on the screen and just eats you and kills you, came from Tower of Jiraga. So just that, all of it. It's a bad game. Don't play it. I'm not even saying that Unlimited Saga is a good game. It's just compared to the pure malicious design of the Tower of Jiraga, I have to go with Tower of Jiraga over Unlimited Saga.
Excellent. So the winner of the ZP's Help I'm Trapped in Sysiphean Torment Award is Tower of Jiraga with runner-up Unlimited Saga. Next category, we have the Biggest Indictment of Capitalism Award with the nominees Fortnite, Multiverses, Freeways, Eternal Sonata, Prison Architect, Fulfillment, Gauntlet, and Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13. Where are we at on this one, folks? I think Prison Architect or Fulfillment.
Yeah, this This game's
So-
always a controversial category.
Yeah,
We're never
like
sure
I don't
whether
think we've
it's
ever defined, is a successful critique of capitalism the award winner, or is an unsuccessful critique of capitalism the winner? Because fulfillment aims for a target and gets there. At
or is
least
the process itself, right? So like
Yeah.
Fortnite and the fact that it exists and makes money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or multiverses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we just got to ask what's in your heart. Everybody makes their own call on this one.
Yeah. For that reason, I think Lightning Returns probably doesn't hang. I
or
understand
even
why it's here.
Gauntlet, because
Yeah.
Gauntlet's not this monolith anymore. I mean, Gauntlet literally sucked people's money for a 10-year crease, but it's not a threat.
It's not still a threat.
I would even say that Eternal Sonata doesn't make sense.
No,
I
think
mean, it's
that
too lovingly made.
it's between two prime examples of unstoppable money-making machines of Fortnite multiverses and two like critiques of a shitty practice in Prison Architect
So
and
if-
Fulfillment.
Yeah.
Again, I think this comes back to it. For this category, if you're going with the critique, I mean, I guess it's like between Fortnite and Multiverse, but like if we're going to debate like Prison Architect and Fulfillment, do you give it to the game that is successfully critiquing life in an Amazon warehouse, or the game that doesn't understand what it's doing?
I mean, in
So-
that sense, I think for my vote, I don't think Fortnite makes. I think Multiverses probably wins this for me. Walking backwards into it, it represents, I think, kind of an appalling consolidation in like the entertainment sphere that basically one
Right.
company can put out a game with 950,000 identifiable characters and own the IP rights to all of them, basically. That's probably bad. You can say this about Nintendo as well, by the way, with the maybe important wrinkle that they made most of those characters, whereas Warner just kind of bought all of this, right?
Yeah, I think looking back on it, our biggest indictment of capitalism award when we've had it usually has gone to a game that is just an unstoppable monolith of money making, rather than the critiques therein. So I would say, yeah, Multiverses. Also, Multiverses just
Is
I don't know.
soulless?
Yeah.
It's soulless in a way that Fortnite, for as goofy as it is, people have given Fortnite a soul
And
that it
I
lacked
know this
before.
came up on the podcast, but at the end of the day, Fortnite is a good video game. Like, there's a reason why people like interacting with Fortnite. Like, say what you
Yeah.
want about the ecosystem of commoditizing what you do in Fortnite, but like, people legitimately like Fortnite. Multiverses, I feel like, is just like a blank check that Warner Brothers is trying to fucking. They're just pumping money into this game to make it
They're
relevant
trying
in
to
a
get
crowded
that
field.
Smash demographic because
They
Nintendo
paid
hates
I don't know
Smash
how
fans.
much money. And then they're also making the game to just be like as friendly to everyone as possible. Like when they changed Velma's summon from a police car to the mystery machine because, we understand the critiques of the police, so we're going to make this even more a soulless goddamn zombie game.
So here's the other thing I'll say. Nothing you buy in Fortnite is gameplay relevant.
Oh yeah.
You have to either spend a lot of time grinding out characters to unlock them in multiverses, or you gotta pay up. It's the League of Legends model instead of the Dota 2 model.
These are all good answers, and I think Multiverses is a deserving champion. But I will say Fortnite will outlast us all. Eventually, it will consume everything,
We will be characters in
and it will
Fortnite.
all be Fortnite. Yes.
I hope that I live long enough to become a character in Fortnite.
They're gonna have Gino's
Yeah.
penguin as
They're
a
playing
skin.
that "Heaven is a Place on Earth" song over it. It's just that Black Mirror episode. We're all dancing in a nightclub.
All right, so I think we're in consensus. The winner is Multiverses, with runner-up Fortnite, Prison Architect, and Fulfillment.
Yeah.
Next up is M's award, the Sheeple Award, aka most widely overstated or overrated.
Yep.
What do we got?
As you know, this is the award that goes to games that were very well received that we did not like. or at least I did not like, because I'm not asking you. The nominees are Fortnite, Elden Ring, Metal Gear Solid 3, God of War 2018, Eternal Sonata, and Resident Evil. Well, as far as games that are
Not to
actually
make a
okay.
huge stink about this, but I feel like
Yes.
Prison Architect was well received when it first came out.
Oh, that's a good point.
People love it on Steam.
People
Yeah,
really
people
do like
really
it.
love that game on Steam, and there are people who positively reviewed Layers of Fear.
Jesus
Those
Christ,
people
really?
are chumps.
The Layers of Fear people are going to get to make Silent Hill 2.
Mm,
That's
The
the
game-
next category.
This and their previous works were so well reviewed that they're now going to make a mainline Silent Hill game.
Layers of
All
Fear
right,
is
hold
sitting
on.
at a 78 on Metacritic for the Xbox One release, which is not nothing. That's a green number on there.
That's true. It's not.
That just means that it runs.
Yeah. I don't want to belabor Layers of Fear though.
True. All right, so I'm adding Layers of
category,
Fear
I
and Prison
apologize if I
Architect.
All right. I have added them to the graphics.
Now I have to contend with these two heavy hitters. Samson would like to help. Samson, what do you think of Layers of Fear, Prison Architect?
Wow.
Nope, no input.
Meow, I'm going to reset your progress for Vagrant Story again. Meow.
Yeah, and I still like that game even though you did that. I think that, now that you put Prison Architect on this list, I think it is a indictment of people who play games that has such good reviews on Steam as it does. Because I don't know what game you are fucking playing, but goddamn, I would not give that a good review, even if it knew what it was doing, which it doesn't. I think that a strong contender is also Eternal Sonata, which was widely well received and very strange.
Okay, but here's the context for that.
Yes,
In 2007,
it was
people were so
2007.
thirsty for a decent
Anime
JRPG on those new consoles.
Yes,
Right.
that's true.
Anything.
Yep.
Anything.
They would take whatever you gave them.
And boy, what did they give them?
People thought Tales of Vesperia was a really good game. And people
it's okay.
still latch onto the idea it's a highlight of the entire franchise.
Well,
The Tales
people,
games figured
yeah.
it out eventually.
The Xbox 360, yes, the Xbox 360 JRPG run of we are throwing all of this money so that maybe we can trick people in Japan into buying our console. Oh, whoops, it didn't work. Oh, whoops, all of these games only had a year exclusivity period.
So the winner is Prison Architect, I take it?
Prison Architect.
Runners up.
What are people smoking? Runners up. The fact that Layers of Fear is going to get a Silent Hill run is
Still
incredible.
Braden's bitten a little bit.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you can hold on to that one. That's
All
it.
right. Winner, Prison Architect, go fuck yourself. Layers of Fear, fuck off. Next up, we have Jeff's old game Commendation.
Hi. I'll admit I just clicked over to the Twitch channel because I want to see your mosaic for this if you made
Oh,
one.
I don't have the mosaic for this one because there were too many nominees.
Yeah,
The nominees
okay,
are
that's fine.
MGS3, Super Mario RPG, Eternal Sonata, Dragon Quest 1, Quest for Glory 1, Final Fantasy 6, Ogre Battle 64, Quest 64, Hybrid Heaven, Aiden Chronicles, Might and Magic 6, Zelda 2, The Legend of Dragoon, Nox, Arcanum, Gauntlet, The Tower of Druaga, The Super Spy, and Virtual Hydlide.
Okay, so to meet the min spec for this list, you just needed to be 10 years or older. Don't clip that. I'm going to go with 5 of these. I'm going to do some runners up and then a winner. And these are just things that aren't getting a lot of nods here that I think are worth kind of looking at for anyone. So I'm going to go ahead and get a runner up nod to Virtual Hydlide, just on the merit of that thing is hysterical to look at. Like it must be seen to be believed.
It
I was
looks
also
like a fake video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, T&E Soft used Pebble Beach, a golf engine, to make an RPG.
And it looks like it.
It's unbelievable. So I think everyone should have a gander at that. I'm going to give a nod to, for opposite reasons, ZP said, the Tower of Druaga. I think it's a very formative arcade action RPG thing. I think if you play that a little bit, you can see a little bit of Zelda DNA in there. I'm not going to say it's a nice game. I'm not even going to tell you it's fun, but it's part of your history. So you're going to eat your damn vegetables. I'm going to pin you down while you do it.
To say the Souls game owe some debt of gratitude to the Tower of Druaga is an understatement.
Every Japanese fantasy RPG-ish game
Yeah.
owes
It also
a lot
lets
to
me.
Tower of Druaga.
But it's problematic the same way to someone say that Lenny Riefenstahl is very important to making movies.
It's the triumph of the will of video games.
It's the birth of a nation of video
YouTube,
games.
Shut your mouths. I'm going to give a runner-up nomination to Hybrid Heaven.
I don't know what to say.
On the N64, what a weird thing, right? It's a console that, at least in the United States, got not a lot of RPGs, and that they blew one from Konami Osaka, the Ganbare Goemon and soccer game company chunk of Konami, making the closest thing to MGS the N64 got, which is not even kind of close to MGS, and is a weird dungeon exploration wrestling RPG hybrid with some of the worst voice sampling you've ever heard in your life. It's a shambolic weird thing. You must see it. The top runner-up is going to be Might and Magic 6. Might and Magic 6 rules. Like, unironically, you should just go play it if you have any interest in like dungeon crawly stuff at all. Because it is a very good. It is that series, which was like an old PC RPG series, getting out of grid-based combat and just kind of having an open world chunked off into some kind of big zones. It's charming. It'll run on a graphing calculator just about. We might talk more about Might and Magic 6 in a little bit. And I'm going to give the main nod to Metal Gear Solid 3, which is boring, but hey, that game is great. Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations to Metal Gear Solid 3 with runners-up Hybrid Heaven, Might and Magic 6, The Tower of Druaga, and Virtual Highlight. Congratulations for your old game Commendation. Next category, we have Braden ArbitraryWater Redacted presents the Dubious Championship League with nominees. The idea that Layers of Fear people are going to make the Silent Hill 2 remake. Hybrid Heaven, Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13, The Literal Hour I've Played a Virtual Highlight, Daymare 1998, Getting a Graduate Degree, Legend of Dragoons Localization, and Quest 64. Braden, take it away.
Hi. I for this category this year, I decided to relegate it to things that were related to Deep Listens or Deep Listens affiliated streams. I think it's very funny that Bluer Team has failed upwards in such a way that they are now making the Silent Hill 2 remake. Like, that is a Quantic Dream level of...
You have to see Jess Voidberger's reaction when she said, "Oh man, they're making Silent Hill 2," and then the minute they show the logo,
goes Bloober
she's
Team, and she goes, "No."
It's great. Also, Gino
it's
too. Oh,
just absolute clown shit, and I think that's very funny. I feel bad for the Silent Hill fans as someone who played Silent Hill 2. For this podcast.
Well, don't worry. Sam Barlow's team is going to make one.
I think Silent Hill 2 is like a genuine classic in that, like, oh, this actually holds up. Lightning Return, Hybrid Heaven is really funny. You get to power bomb this weird lizard man. It's good. Lightning Returns is Lightning Returns. It is Tri-Ace given $3 and 13 months to make a Majora's Mask.
Yeah, and it turns out it's a prequel to Our Reality.
Yes, it's a prequel to the Louis Vuitton ads that have lightning in them.
So
being able to tell Gino that he is part of the Final Fantasy 13 canon.
You are now
Oh.
canonically a part of the Final Fantasy 13 canon.
I refuse.
Final Fantasy 13 is inside you, Pete.
Every moment you exist, you make the Final Fantasy 13 canon richer.
Yeah. We kind of talked about Virtual Highlight already. That game is very funny.
So wait, Eternal Sonata, not only Trias Connection, it's literally also part of Final Fantasy 13
Yeah.
Yes.
Whoa.
by
We all
Chopin
are.
existing. Okay.
Every game is.
So is that
a
Final Fantasy
sequel.
13 part 4, even though it was made before Final Fantasy 13?
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Happy.
We are all Final Fantasy 13.
Just
part.
like
No,
how
wait.
Frank Sinatra composed the
Yes.
theme song of Sappho.
Daymare 1998, I played for the charity stream we did this summer for the National Network of Abortion Funds. It's free on GOG right now if you're listening to this while it's being recorded. It is, as an enthusiast for Resident Evil style games, it is maybe one of the most inept things I have seen. And I played a lot of bad stuff this year. That's why I limited this category to just things I played related to this site or this podcast. It's also very funny because no one who natively spoke English wrote the script or looked over it. And it led to the clip where there's the guy going, he's going there. And then he'll be there.
Oh.
It is very good.
Getting a graduate degree is why I didn't finish more of the games we played for the podcast this year. You know, it turns out school's hard. Legend of Dragoon is just, once again, a masterwork in no one who natively spoke English looked over this. And I think that consequentially makes it stand out among all of those PS1 JRPGs because there's such a gulf between the production values and the quality of the script.
Mhm.
And then Quest 64 is, I feel like the archetypical Nintendo 64 game you rented and didn't understand because you were 7, based on personal experience. And coming back to it, it's just like this is an RPG for babbies. But yeah, the winner's Daymare.
Wow. Okay.
Because I
I'm
did
gonna
that
have to
for
go install
charity.
that.
And
Yeah, and I mean that is a game made by an Italian studio, if I
Yes, an
remember, that
Italian
was trying to
studio.
make a Resident Evil
Yes.
like homage
they were
project,
making
and then they got a cease and
of
desist.
Resident Evil 2 in Unreal Engine 4, and then they got slapped down by Capcom, and literally like flew out to Capcom and talked with some of the developers there, and they came back with all of these ideas, and they said, let's make the worst Resident Evil clone imaginable. Once again,
Excellent.
it's free on GOG
Free on GOG.
right
Check it out.
now. Go
Nice
get
price.
it.
Winner of the Dubious Championship League,
Yeah.
Daymare 1998.
And the runner-up is Lightning Returns.
Excellent. Runner-up, Lightning Returns. Congratulations to you both. The best non-game, our last category before Game of Our Year. The nominees are the National Basketball Association, Magic the Gathering, Final Fantasy V, Dear Friends, Final Fantasy VI, Special Tracks, these are both albums, Silent Hill Revelations 3D, ZP's Food Reviews, which, if in case you don't know, is taking chocolate and whacking himself on the head to check for cacao
Among
quantities
other
in
things.
chocolate. And the Deep Listens Discord, you, the listener. So we can probably cut you, the listener, off this.
All right. So I actually have a co-cap.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
I've got an actual chocolate bar. I didn't clear this with Gino. I actually brought a food review.
This is
just 70%
you can't
chocolate
thumb
bar.
the scale like this, ZP.
So now we're gonna this is 70%. I actually posted a picture of it. It's from Ghirardelli.
You win. Just give it to him.
You win, you sick fucker.
Like, can't beat the National Basketball Association.
Okay, yeah,
he just did.
Or Silent Hill Revelations 3D. What a film!
So let's now open this up.
I thought Final Fantasy V, Dear Friends, was all right.
Oh,
I'm going to give it to the Deep Listens Discord for always being there.
The winner is you, the listener.
This is pretty good.
Yay.
Chocolate. It's got a dark
the
bite
people who
to
give
it.
us money, that is the best non-game.
And so that's really good. Ghirardelli is a really good chocolate.
They do. They make a good chocolate. That's why they're in all the supermarkets.
So authentically, I would say the 70% that it has, I got the sea salt version of it. I think that the salt is properly put there. And
we're going to be here all night. Please,
dark-
God.
I don't want to hear about mouthfeel. Let's just give it to the Discord and move to the last one.
Give it to the Discord.
All right, the
Discord.
winner is the Deep Listens Discord. The winner is you, the listener.
Wonderful.
With runners-up, Silent Hill Revelations 3D, ZP hitting himself in the face with chocolate, and the National Basketball Associations. Look, your face is part of your head. I don't claim to believe that you're always accurate in your hits. Next up, Game of Our Year.
All right.
The Grand Finale Award. The nominees are...
wait. There was
What?
a fan vote.
Oh, there was a fan vote. Yes,
Shit.
give me the fan vote.
Yeah.
Do you have the results?
Yes, I do.
For best episode?
Well, since you asked.
Yes.
Let's see.
Drum roll.
Go. Why aren't you coming up? Oh my God! Why isn't this pulling up? I know
no.
you're in the strike.
Oh no!
We can
I
save
promise.
it for the end. We can do Game of Our Year while we wait.
Cody, community vote. All right.
How many entries were there?
Well,
in the vote?
there were.
Don't say that. Just say the results.
Okay. You, the community, voted on 2 categories, which were favorite quote and favorite episode, and the results are as follows. There's a tie for second place for favorite quote. The tie is between I Can Eat Hydrusimon for Hours, that was by me,
I hate that one.
and I love video games the same way white people love The Office. That was from Braden, ArbitraryWater Redacted.
Congratulations.
Can we get all the nominees?
The nominees
There are
were
so many. There are so many.
Okay, yeah, and this I put this together in November. Some quotes got put into the out of context quotes channel after this. Did not make the cut. So here's what was in there. We've got "Give me more jizz in Star Wars" from ZP. "I've killed some real people" from Game Maker M. The white people of The Office. "Turn the malice crank" from ArbitraryWater. "I Can Eat Hydrusimon." "Do you think Antichrist is worth watching, Jeff?" Very accusational language. That was from ArbitraryWater. "And horses have their own hit points." That's a quote from ArbitraryWater that someone clipped. "Love me a good cloaca." That is from community member Relkin. "Long and hard till their teeth clatter." Till their teeth clatter. Excuse me. ZombiePie. "I'm not a Marxist, but still hate winter." Also from ZombiePie. And then, let's see, this fairly long one. "If I played Ultima 4 in the 80s, I could see it blowing my mind back when the government was covering up the AIDS crisis and G.I. Joe was considered art." That is ArbitraryWater. The winner, taking the majority or a plurality of the votes, "Her belly button pussy shoots lasers. That's a womb." That's an exchange between ZombiePie and ArbitraryWater. Congratulations, you two.
Horrible.
Horrible.
Horrible. Every second of that was horrible.
She shoots the laser beam from her belly button pussy.
Favorite episode. It is a multiple tied up, jammed up situation for second place. Second place tie. Let's see. We've got votes for the Off the Deep End Goaty episode from last year, the N64 RPG Roundup, the NBA 2K16 featuring a Spike Lee joint, Zelda 2, the definitive Final Fantasy Lesbian Thirst Trap Rankings Part 1, the definitive Final Fantasy Lesbian Thirst Trap Rankings Part 2, Did Lightning Ever Leave, the grand finale, and Quest for Glory 1 got a vote. And the winner, coming in with a plurality, Can We Afford the Rights to the No Yume series, Eternal Sonata, the Deep Listens podcast about Eternal Sonata.
Wonderful.
Not the Off the Deep End one about Eternal Sonata. Congratulations. Thanks for everyone for playing. We'll see you next year.
Excellent. And now, the trenchiest of trenchies, the Marianas Trench Award for Deepness. Game of our year. The nominees are Final Fantasy VI, Webbed, Dragon Quest I, Fortnite, Quest for Glory 1, Eternal Sonata, Sable, Elden Ring, Ogre Battle 64, Trials of Fire, Quest 64, Hybrid Heaven, Aiden Chronicles The First Mage, Fulfillment, The Supper, About an Elf, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, Might and Magic 6, The Mandate of Heaven, Song of Iron, Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13, Lady Killer in a Bind, NBA 2K16 featuring a Spike Lee joint, Floppy Nights, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, Prison Architect, Unlimited Saga, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, Legend of Dragoon, Multiverses, Freeways, Nox, Patrick's Parabox, Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura, Sir Whoop-Ass, Immortal Death, Super Mario RPG, Layers of Fear, The Tower of Druaga, Gauntlet, The Super Spy, God of War 2018, Virtual Hydlide, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins, Resident Evil, and... wait a second. Vagrant Story, Fulfill the Prophecy, End the Curse?
This is your chance. This is your chance to right the wrongs. That's
Okay, where are we voting,
You don't
folks?
have to.
Well, seeing as we're doing this Eurovision style and awarding multiple votes per person, I'm going to start by giving my fifth place
What?
points to...
No.
No, we're not doing that at all. Pick a game.
Absolutely not. Pick your first one.
There's no ranked choice voting in the Deep Listens podcast.
There's only voting.
This is the primary here, okay? You vote with your heart, and then the main ballot comes out.
Yes,
Okay, there's a lot of games on here.
there are. It's a good thing we had a year.
I think there is only one true choice.
Okay, you seem to have a choice picked. What is your one true choice?
The game that we have come back to the entire year, many, many times. And I think we will continue to come back to because, by God, is it an experience, Eternal Sonata.
All right, we've got one vote for Eternal Sonata. Sick. Next up, Pete.
This is
I-
sick.
I want to vote for Chaos and vote for Kirby. Just to stick it to Gino. But I will
Fuck
also.
you. Don't
I
you
will.
dare.
I will also vote for Eternal Sonata because I think it's the one game from this year that I will remember the most.
How can you forget anything
You can't.
about it?
All right, ZP, what do you
I
got?
can't vote for Eternal Sonata because I finished Eternal Sonata, and
You
playing
can.
Eternal Sonata is awful.
Two of us
Actually
just
trying
voted for
to
it.
finish that game and getting through those dungeons is fucking
It
awful.
sucks.
Holy shit. There are some dungeons in there and levels and interstitial stuff that just drag it so the fuck down. Oh my god.
And
But-
yet,
But
there's something
you
about it.
remember so much of it, don't you?
Yeah,
You
but
remember so many lines.
You remember the death scene? You remember Count Waltz throughout the whole thing?
You played, you laughed, you learned.
yeah, but
yeah.
if we're
You
talking
now-
about weird anime shit that actually plays and functions well, I might as well vote for, I'm going to vote for Metal Gear Solid 3 because it gives me the anime high, but it actually is a functional video game that I can feel like I can play more than once.
It's all right.
All right, so what do we have? What do we have next?
Oh,
Who's
I mean,
Braden? What do you got?
boy. I feel like most of the games you guys played this year were kind of bad.
That was
Yeah,
by design.
deliberately.
I
Yeah, it was the plan.
Correct.
Whereas I'm gonna say, not to toot my own horn, but Might and Magic 6 was a very exciting game to replay and realize, oh, it's just as good as I remembered it. It's better.
Okay. Jeff, what do you have? Jeff, Final Fantasy VI is on this list.
Yeah, I know, and that I feel like it should get a vote. And golly, I sure love that game. And I'm happy with the other things that have already been voted for. So yes, Final Fantasy VI.
All right. So I am in a bit of a pickle here. Because on the one hand, Eternal Sonata makes me giggle. And I like that game an awful lot. On the other hand, I think Final Fantasy VI is a legitimately great game. I don't like MGS3, and I don't know anything about Might and Magic 6, so
That's
no
your
opinion
fault.
there.
Yeah,
it's fair.
We're all getting better,
Um,
you know.
That is a moral failing.
But one of these games knocked my favorite game off of the top of the Final Fantasy rankings, and I'm a spiteful little guy. And Final Fantasy VI, it did that. So I'm going to give my vote to Eternal Sonata.
Yes!
Woo!
Because Eternal Sonata, boy oh boy, is it a good game? Questionable.
Probably not.
But
No.
probably not. But everyone should play it or experience it because boy oh boy, so many games attempt to do what Eternal Sonata did. Or, to be that anime nutso. But Eternal Sonata, it chose to do it with the life of an actual person. It chose to go all the way with its anime nonsense. It says, yes, we've set the game in the dying mind of Friedrich Chopin, but what if he was a tertiary character at best? What if what we really cared about was the love life of jazz and claves and the other one with the short hair whose name I forget.
Falsetto.
Falsetto, yes, that is the one. What if we lingered on them for a little bit? What would happen if there was a shitty little king in the mind of Friedrich Chopin who was selling drugs to make people wizards? What then?
You can't overemphasize that the game starts with your mother telling you you're going to have to kill yourself.
That is what I was
That's
going
how it
to
opens.
It opens with 3 cutscenes, each of which seem to relate to each other tangentially at best.
Sometimes it just goes into a PowerPoint about the life of Frederick Chopin.
Yes. An actual PowerPoint with, they got a stock image and they put a water, a filter on it to make it a little washed out, and that was it. You could print it, send it. Done. And you get a little piano underneath. So I think Eternal Sonata is our winner for Game of our Year.
Well,
we defined our year. And in a year,
hold on.
Well, just one other thing I just want to say. In a year defined by spiteful picks of shitty games, what would be more apropos than a admittedly dubious game that won our hearts?
That's true. But now
ZP, go ahead.
ZP, do you want to contest this?
I wish to propose that Off the Deep End form an alliance around a game to cause a complete tie.
Oh, fuck.
So, gentlemen, what are we voting for?
Why?
Monstrous.
Why would you do this?
Braden,
What purpose does it serve?
I'm
Because
willing
we
to move
serve
to Might
evil.
and Magic 6.
Like
Jeff, are you
Eternal
willing?
Sonata had joint custody.
Yeah,
Both
this is-
sides.
This heel turn, unprecedented.
Jeff,
Are you gonna
remember
rally
when you
behind
find
Might and
out
Magic
that
6?
the world of Might and Magic 6, this fantasy world, is owned by a computer? And you have to go
ZP
find
is-
crystals for RAM? And
He's
then
concussed
he gives
himself
you an
with the
alien,
chocolate.
He gives you an alien laser beam to beat up goblins and wizards.
Just to throw a little factoid out there that I don't know. Since we all played Eternal Sonata, we have things to play upon your heartstrings. If you pick Might and Magic 6, we are stones. We will not be moved.
Well, you can fix
Possible.
that, can't you?
Not within
Pause the
parameters.
I'll give you the link to the fan patch.
We'll revisit this in 2 weeks.
Yeah, does Eternal Sonata need a fan patch to run well?
Is that a selling point?
Shh.
Sounds like a detriment.
Does Eternal
Chris?
Sonata have digitized actor portraits? One of
It
which
has
is now
good
an
if it wanted
emote on the
to.
Discord server.
It has the mind of Frederick Chopin as an anime place.
Look,
Oh.
to put my coin on anything else would be to take my coin off Final Fantasy VI, and I spent a good chunk of the last several hours voting against Final Fantasy VI. I can't do it here. It's got to at least be it has to make the short list.
You're brave,
You already
and I
did.
appreciate that.
It's highlighted green, Jeff.
Yeah,
So-
it's my vote.
And I got Metal Gear Solid a green vote.
Yeah,
And now I'm moving to Might and Magic 6.
Change the color.
yeah. You see that I'm a man of
That's
principle as opposed to you. That's the difference.
Excellent.
It sounds
So
like
we have a winner.
We have a
Get
winner.
Master Air Magic and fly away, you coward.
That game
The
rules.
winner-
I love that game.
Game of our year 2022 is and forever will be Eternal Sonata.
Yeah. So, Gino,
Yay.
What you're saying is that Eternal Sonata is better than Final Fantasy VI, which in turn
Yes.
means that Eternal Sonata is better than Final Fantasy IX.
Yay!
Damn.
Yeah, you are. You are. We scientifically proved that Final Fantasy VI is better than 9. Therefore, Eternal Sonata is better than Final Fantasy IX.
Transitive property don't work like that. Winner, Eternal Sonata.
I would like to.
Game of our year. Thank you, listeners, everyone who's hung out through this. Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, always a pleasure for the year-end podcast.
Thank you, Em.
Oh boy, this was a doozy. But luckily, the game I picked for Game of our Year won, so I do not have to continue torturing. We're free.
Yay!
Wonderful.
Except for the off the deep end people, you still play garbage RPGs. Sorry.
You're trapped.
Thank you, ZP.
Is it time for me to quit this podcast and go to my hentai power hour?
Enjoy.
Thank you, Braden.
I will nominate more good games and blame all the bad ones we play on the fans.
That's good. Thank you, Jeff.
I'm holding my arms at a 45-degree angle to my side in delight. This
And
doesn't
thank you-
hurt at all.
Thank you, listeners.
This is a new T-pose.
Yes. Reminder, you can get in touch with the show at Deep Listens Pod on Twitter, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have our comment sections and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. And you can support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. Thank you to 7 strong years of Deep Listens. And thank you to everyone who's been listening from the start, everyone who's joined along the way. Our 200th episode is coming up soon. So I'm sure we will do something special for that. So if you want to get any questions in or anything, giving you a heads up that we will probably do a question show come that time. And we will remind you periodically throughout. So thanks to all of you. Thanks to everyone who's been listening through the last year. To 2022. Till next time. Peace.